Métis, and other people from throughout Canada and the world. All of this makes Inuvik a great place to live. And number 2 is the adoption of the agenda. Any further agenda items you need to add this evening? Seeing none. Item number 3, declaration of conflict of interest or pecuniary interest with any of the agenda items.
It's Alana here. I'm in conflict on 8.4.
8.4, Alana. Anyone else? Seeing none. Delegation presentations and petitions. I don't think we have anything here for the speed skating.
The speed skate one, yeah.
Okay. Answer any questions if council has any. Public question period. I think we're good on that. Adoption of the minutes, 6-1. Any corrections needed on the minutes from the November 24th, 26th meeting? We've got everybody who is there listed. Nothing. Action item 7-1 out of the minutes.
There's
Update there.
really no new updates. We're just waiting for our community plan to be approved from the minister. And I'm still waiting for clarification on the NTPC rate increases. So once I have that information, I'll give it to you.
Great. Thanks. Item number 8, new business request for council decision. This is conditional use permit for a medical dental clinic on 50 Dolphin, or for a local corner store lot. There's also a drawing that's accompanied with that. And basically, because we're still operating off of our old 2015 zoning bylaw, it requires a conditional use permit because it's the area is zoned R1. And we also have Peter Schultz, our development officer, who put this together online if there's any questions on the conditional use or this application. And I believe we have 2 IRC reps, Brandon and Sam. No, there's Sam.
I think Brandon is on a plane.
Okay. Anyway, if there are any questions for IRC also. Questions, comments from council? Councilor Lemieux.
What are we planning to move ahead with this? What's the scheduling?
Sam, do you want to give us an overview on what the schedule is for this project?
So yes, we are hoping to have something at least partially up and running mid 2026. Obviously the building's going to need some renos on the interior, but hopefully, everything takes longer than I would like, but hopefully mid 2026 we start seeing patients.
You can get that all done by mid 2026. That wouldn't be slow. That would be lightning speed, Sam.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that's why I'm hedging it, but that's our target at this point.
Yeah.
And that's like a full-time, like 6-day a week establishment, is it, or 5 days?
I think so. We're going to start. We are having some conversations with the GNWT on how that'll all work. In terms of integrating things like the medical record system, so people don't fall through the cracks. We'd be starting probably mostly with nurse practitioners, focusing on sort of more the smaller things. But yeah, our intention is to start seeing patients focused on certain conditions at least 5 days a week, as well as getting people out to the communities on a rotating basis. but operating out of this building.
Okay, so this is integrated kind of with GNWT, or is this a fully private facility?
So IRC will operate it. It would just be like going to you would say like IRC is privately running it, but you would just use your NWT health card.
Okay,
That would be no different than you're going to the hospital. And like the hope is that the staff there have access to the NWT health records so that you know, if you're transferred to a specialist or if you're following up on something, you don't have to give them your whole life story.
okay, so so it's medical people as well as the dental?
Yeah.
Okay.
So Sam, on staffing that, would those be, or maybe you don't even know at this point, would those be full-time permanent staff, resident staff, or would they be rotated in, just knowing that most of Canada is having a tough time finding doctors, and
Yeah.
certainly Northwest Territories, we're having a challenge on the dental side.
Yeah, so no, we would be at least for now largely rotating in staff from Alberta. So
Okay.
locums.
Any further questions from council on the conditional use? Peter Schultz, anything to add on that?
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. I think it's in my report. It's a bit of legal wording shenanigans I had to go through because of the way the old zoning bylaw is written. The exact wording of the zoning bylaw leads towards a negative, but the historical precedent and the de facto less intense use of a medical clinic versus a corner store leads towards a positive. I think it would be a very positive thing for the community and for the neighborhood. So I would recommend that council go with the historical interpretation of zoning precedent versus the being a stickler on the exact wording.
Okay, no further questions, comments from council on this? Straightforward? Okay. Moving along, 8.2 donation request, Speed Skating Association is doing a coaching clinic and youth clinic and is requesting use of the community lounge upstairs and some ice time. The total amount of the donation would be $12.40. Questions, comments from council? Certainly good to see speed skating back at the arena and kids back speed skating, so that's great. Any questions, comments? Councilor McDonald?
Yeah, just a quick question. Do we have a breakdown on what that in-kind donation, like what the ice time would have cost, what would be donated in ice time and what the room would be?
Yeah. And do you know how much time during the day speed skating is gonna take us on those 3 days?
Yeah, it's 2 days of ice time. It'll be the Saturday, Sunday, so February 7th and February 8th. And we're requesting from 10 a.m. to 5 p.m. each day.
10 a.m. to 5 p.m. each day.
Yeah, so Saturday,
Okay.
Sunday. And then
So for
for
those-
the community lounges, it's just the evening of the 5th, 6 to 9, and then all day February 6th to Friday from 9 to 5.
Okay, thanks. Any further questions, comments from council? Okay, thanks. 8.3, this is the big one, the biggest decision we make all year. Town of Inuvik 2026 interim operating and capital budget. I think all of us have been touching this at one point or another, and I know staff have been working hard on this and yeah, questions, comments on the budget. We don't have one attached here, but that's because everyone would have received that. Yes. you would have all received that previously or been working on that. But that will be, on Wednesday, we will vote in order to approve the budget because our capital year starts January 1st. So any further questions, comments on the capital budget? And operating budget? Yes, we've been able to answer all the questions. I mean, most of us were here on Saturday for 5 hours with staff. And then some of us were with the finance committee for 2 meetings as well as other meetings on the budget also. So I think staff have certainly done a pretty good job of pulling it all together and the input from councilors has been great. Councilor Lemieux.
Yeah, just to confirm, like the subtle changes and mopping up that we did is all gonna be reflected in.
It already is.
Yeah, okay, then I think that was
Yeah.
pretty much it.
Yeah, all of those, they were busy putting them in as we were
Yeah.
chatting Saturday, and then there were a few things we had to check on, but no, I think it's all in there now.
Okay.
Yeah. And it's also a budget. It's also a budget where if we bring in money from the outside or save money in some areas, I mean, sometimes it's up and down, but whatever, like we did at the end of this year, whatever we don't have to apply to the debenture, then we don't.
Mhm.
And we'll do the same thing this coming year and keep that debenture drawing on it as low as possible. So if we're able to save money in some area for whatever reason, that's good news. And it just means we dip less into the debenture. Because it's, in a sense, it's still a deficit budget. Because we're still trying to build up for the water sewer expenses that we've had in the past couple of years.
Mhm.
Okay. 8.4. Request for council decision, conditional use for modular construction. This is the housing court project. And you can see in there the one map which shows phase 1 on that, which is 5 fourplexes. And that's coming off the junction box, kind of just behind where the Parks duplex is. And then the future plan would be further duplexes, access roads in both cases. Anybody who's wondering what those little rectangles are, those are raised beds, planters. So they can plant some gardens out there. That's what those are. Questions, comments, and we also have a couple of people from the Housing Corp, Will Scott and Becca. So they will be able to answer any questions we have on that. And I'll open up the questions by asking, so there's 84 meters of utilidor that'll have to go in, plus all of the utilidettes. And is the plan to put that in this summer?
That's correct. The development of the site would start this spring. Now, the extent of that development is going to be limited to the 5 fourplexes that you see in phase 1. And if you like, I can guide you through some images. I brought some along just in case.
Sure. So just on that, we've got one company in town that does utilidors. Have you been in contact with that company?
So this is all being done through Arcan. It was a successful proponent for this particular involvement. So they're developing the units for shipping up to Inuvik, and the intent is to use as much local forces as possible. So it would be in their wheelhouse to reach out. But that is, that's the intent that I understand. And Will, who's also online, just pipe in if you have any additional things to say.
That's about it. It'll be incumbent of the contractor to organize all the utility construction and pad development. And yes, we are hoping that that occurs in the 2026 field season.
Okay, so I'm not clear, or I'm not clear on the answer on whether or not somebody has already got the wheels turning on the utilidor. And I think previous correspondence from the town was if you want the town to take over the utilidor after it's built, because the housing corp wouldn't have anybody in town that could do that, then that has to be built to our specs and
Yeah.
probably with our engineer so that it matches all of the other specs. And in order to build it this summer, you've got to secure the contractor that can put in the pilings. And then you also have to order all of the piping
Yeah.
to get it here, either before the road goes out or shortly after that. Otherwise, those fourplexes will sit there without water sewer for another year.
We'll reach out to the contractor and see where they are with that. Okay, well,
Just to clarify, the units are not slated for construction until early 2027, and so the projected delivery date would be between March and June of 2027. But that is duly noted. I will express the urgency to the contractor.
Okay, so the actual fourplexes aren't coming until next fiscal year.
2027, yes. This year would be.
Okay. Okay. Councilor Lemieux.
I would just recommend maybe we should do what we can to get whoever's calling the shots with that in touch with our engineers and actually make that introduction so that they don't have to waste time messing around trying to figure things out. Just go straight to our guy, tell them these are the minimum standards we're looking for. This is the material we're using. This is the expectation, and do that like right out of the gates.
Yeah.
Appreciate that.
Yeah, well, Rebecca, if you're able to contact the town, our director of infrastructure, Daniel, he can put you in contacts with the engineers that do all of our engineering on the utilidor and the utility, because it's all connected. And just so that if Arcan is responsible for that, then they can start that process. I just
Thank
did
you so
some
much.
quick this afternoon based on the meters that you're looking at putting in, and you've got probably somewhere between $1 and $1.2 million worth of utilidor utilidats on that site just with phase one.
Yeah, we're aware of that.
Yeah.
Exciting.
Okay.
I might be
exciting.
more excited about the
Right.
housing part than the utilidor part.
Any further questions from council on the development? I guess the other part of it, I mean, the water sewer is the biggest part, but certainly road access, power lines and natural gas access will be the other part that you need to figure out sooner than later. Just on how each of those units is going to get power. Councilor McDonald.
Yeah, I was just wondering if, on our side, if we've looked at, is there any potential issues with off that utility system? Just because we're having these pressure problems in new developments elsewhere, but we're looking at putting, I mean, quite a few, I don't know what the total number is there, but that's quite a few new structures. So I'm just wondering if Daniel or our guys have looked at our infrastructure to make sure that we're not going to have any issues.
No, that's a good question. Not only all of these units, but at the other end of that block, the Inuvik are talking about putting in I think it's a 25 unit apartment.
Yeah.
So it would be probably something good to get our Michael Maldays or somebody to look at that and just see how that's gonna affect the overall, water and sewer in that area.
Yeah.
I mean, at one point it was all there, when Blueberry Patch was there and the units up to Lyle's were full, so at one point it was all there. But that was several years ago.
Mhm.
Councilor Lemieux.
Also, I'm just wondering, like the elevations there with that utility main is gonna be significantly higher than what the ground level is, so those units are gonna have to be relatively high. Natural drainage, all that kind of stuff is something that's gonna have to be taken into consideration and not overlooked, I would think, so I just mentioned that ahead of time here.
Yeah, I think, Will and Becca, that would be a good thing to get planned this year, even before phase two kicks in, but just what the elevations would be to make sure that everything flows in the right direction, but also then if there's any drainage access in that same area that needs to be, drainage work that needs to be done so that there's no pooling in, in some of the spots. I'm not familiar enough to know where that would be, but that would be something that the entire site would need to be assessed.
Absolutely. We do have that slated for the under contractor scope of work is, the engineering would involve the site survey as well. So drainage and cooling, we have provisions in the contract to take that into consideration.
Okay, great. Any further questions, comments? I mean, we certainly welcome the additional housing, the shortage of housing in Inuvik, and anything we can do to get more people in the new housing is good news.
Either a point of clarification, so this request for council decision is for the modular, like is for the manufacturer. That's what you're gonna be voting on Wednesday, is to approve the manufactured homes.
Okay,
That's the intent of this. So
Yeah.
just so everybody's clear on what they're gonna be voting for on Monday.
okay.
So the motion, I'm just gonna pull up the motion here for you, unless you've got it in front of you. So it's, the conditional use for prefabricated homes, so
Right.
same with that. It just, because of the old bylaw that we have to apply, you have to approve prefabricated homes for these ordinances.
Yeah.
Okay?
Yeah,
All right.
that was pretty evident in Peter's.
Yeah.
Peter's presentation of it, yeah. No further questions, comments? Great. Thanks, Will. Thanks, Becca,
Thank you.
appreciate it.
Thank you, guys.
You
Have
know,
a good evening. If you don't mind, I'm gonna sign off now.
All right, Alana, you can come back now.
Thanks, Peter.
Nine one, request for council decision. This is the third reading to acquire commissioners' lands. This is the property on the end of Boot Lake Road. We gave first and second reading to that earlier. Any further questions, comments on this? Pretty straightforward. Right. There. We don't have any departmental updates. Information items, the 2025 holiday hours. You should have received a copy of that at your desk, so that's when the town office and the other facilities will be open and closed. Any other information items from any of the counselors? Seeing none. Any council concerns? Item number 12. Everyone seems to be surviving all of the Christmas parties, so that's good.
Yeah, especially.
And everything else, so, yeah, very busy time of the year. We don't have any in-camera items, and so if there's nothing else, we just need a motion to adjourn. Moved by Counselor Gillis. Thanks, everyone. We'll see you Wednesday.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Anna.